Hello and welcome to Tali. Tali is cloud-based, so you can use it absolutely anywhere you've got that internet connection. We're looking at the dashboard at the moment, and the dashboard consists of the tabs at the top that open up to the subheadings below. But you can also use the quick links on the dashboard to get around Tali as well. So clicking income has the same effect as going to transactions, enter income, expenditure button, transactions, record expenditure, etc. We've got a couple of ways of helping you on screen. The first being the chat button, bottom right-hand corner. This opens up and you can just send us a message and we'll come back to you as soon as we possibly can. We've also got the support tab, top right-hand corner. If we click into that, it goes in and you can pop in a pertinent word. Reconcile, for example, reconcile bank statements. How do I reconcile a bank statement, for example? Just close bottom right-hand corner to close the chat. And we're back to the dashboard and the full screen. We're going to start today really with the administration tab, just making sure that everything that we've loaded for you in Tali is as you want it and as you're expecting it. We're going to start with administration and just look at the audit logs at the bottom. So the audit logs just give you as an admin user the availability to see what's happened audit-wise on your Tali software. Starting with manage users, you can add new users onto the system. You can archive users. You can change email addresses and mark users in and out of use. Period end close down is where you'll come at the end of your financial year. In this version of Tali, the year end is going to be the 31st of the 8th, 2022. The year begins on the 1st of the 9th, 2021. When you're ready to do a year end, it's just a case of popping the date in at the end of the year, 31/08/2022, and either previewing to have a snapshot of what's gone on. You might want to do that at the end of a month, for example, not necessarily just at the end of the year. And confirm allows you to confirm that close down and to move towards a draft period end, which you'll then have audited. And then once you've got audit approval, you'll then be able to close down your year completely. Administration manage bank accounts is where we've popped your bank accounts. So we've probably popped you in a settlement bank account, which is a virtual bank account. It's just somewhere where virtual money can go. So for example, online payments from an online payment provider. But we'll come back to that when we do your training, if that's something you have on your new version of Tali. But everything else is held in a bank account, a physical bank account, whether it's a school fund or a savings account. You might have more than one bank account. And we've also popped you in a cash account, which might be for your petty cash. So when you've told us about your balances, you've put a balance in, for example, for petty cash, the money that you have in the safe, plus a balance at your bank. You can create further bank accounts by just clicking Create Bank Account at the bottom. Administration and manage accounts is where we've popped the accounts that you've told us about, whether they've got a code that marries up to an online payment provider, or you've used something simple like school as a code instead, a short code that describes the account. I'll just extend the number of accounts out there, make it 20, and you can see more of them in one view. You can click into any of these account codes and you can see how it's made up. This one's in use. It had an opening balance, which we wouldn't suggest you change the opening balances. Opening balances are for when you start your Tali software. But obviously, if you've got a new bank account, you might have a fresh account code that marries up to the balance in that bank. So in that instance, you would probably put an opening balance in. The budget might be an expected expenditure on an account, and the unit cost might be, the £50 it costs to go on the Alton Towers trip. And that's so you can use the reports who's not paid to see who can or has and hasn't paid for a particular trip. I'll just click Abandon at the bottom there. You can mark accounts in and out of use. If I click the button next to School Fund Charities, mark it out of use and update accounts, you'll see it goes grey, it goes into the archive. Administration Manage Accounts, it's gone from my list. But if I show out of use, I didn't mean to do that, I can tick the box next to it, mark it in use and update accounts, and it's back on the list again. You can also put your accounts in groups of accounts if you'd like to at the bottom. So say you want a few accounts in an account group, maybe to report on them separately, possibly at year end, then you can create your own little ad hoc group at the bottom of that page. When you're ready to create any new accounts in Tali, it's just create new account at the bottom and the same page I showed you before. We need an account code, 1 to 7 digits, an account name, i.e. Alton Towers, and then it was obviously in use. If it's a donation account, it might be because you're making it gift aidable. It might be a charitable event. The opening balance, as I said, usually zero. Budget, as we said, expected expenditure and the unit cost. And you can attach any of your accounts to groups as you go along on their setup if you'd like to. Save at the bottom. Administration managed names is where we hold the detail of all your pupils in school, the students within the school. These are uploaded prior to your training, either by MISAP, if you're a Sims school, or a CSV import done at the bottom of the page, import names, if you're not. MISAP should work for you, the link to Sims, if you are a Sims school, every evening usually, about 2 a.m. It just chats with Sims and basically Tali says to Sims, tell me what happened since I last asked you. Your pupils are updated year to year, class to class, and any new pupils are brought in. Any pupils that had left school at any time, or staff members, or you just don't need a name anymore, then you can mark these out of use just like you could the accounts. You just choose the name or multiple names. Tali puts these names in the box on the right, so if you make a mistake, you can just take them off there. And you can mark them out of use and update names. And that's really easy to do. So for example, if your year sixes have left, you can come and find your year sixes, flood fill them, mark them out of use, update names, and they go into the archive. We don't assume that they've left school. So usually your names, the names of your pupils and your staff are brought in through MISAP, the link to Sims, or a CSV import at the bottom, which will show you how to do if you need to do that. Anything else is usually a name of an organisation. So, for example, create new organisation, you would just pop in, say, Dudley's Coaches. You don't have to put any of the contact details in unless you want to, but do remember to save at the bottom. And then when I next look to pay a check, for example, to Dudley's Coaches, it'll just pop up when I start filtering for it. The last thing I'd like to talk about on the administration tab is just going down to the middle to view opening balances. This is quite important because it's your starting position. We need to know if anything is wrong on this page. The difference must always be zero. Whenever you look on this page, the difference must always be zero. It is the difference between your bank and cash in hand and any money that you hold in a settlement bank account and the balance of your accounts on the right. In other words, one side balances with the other, giving you a difference of zero. The total on the left, 607,940, balances with your accounts that you've put on your data collection form on the right-hand side. If the difference is not zero, please let us know and we'll help you investigate. If you need to change the period beginning date because that's not the start of your financial year, then also let us know that too. I hope you found this useful. I'm just going to return you to the dashboard and then we'll pick your training up when we do the one-to-one. Thank you.